Hi, Carlin.
Hey, Lois, how are you today?
I'm good, and you? You
I'm doing
so
fine.
cheerful.
Well, I haven't seen you in the flesh in 2 years.
A while, yeah.
Yeah. How did that broadband committee meeting finish up? I understand you were on it. I had to leave early.
Um, basically, they went through all of the things, and mainly Concord Green and the gentleman who is the member of the board at Concord Green and on the broadband. He priced out, they had some numbers for cost, for what it cost Concord Green, and Concord Green also at the same time has roof assessment coming up, and another thing, and I don't know if it's an electrical upgrade. It's some other, this in the next like 2 to 3 years on deck is a couple like major
Yeah.
assessments. I mean, really big guys. Which in any condo, it's the type of thing that
Mhm.
you have to do periodically, and it's big
No fun
stuff.
budget to do it, yeah. But if
Right.
you don't, it's the roof leaks.
Oh, yeah, you crumble.
Yeah.
You got lots of leaks, and it makes it, whatever. So anyway, he pointed out that, and he pointed out they also went through like what kind of they did like a conservative cost for that it might be, and how it had to be done, because you can't have the way their documents are, you can't have part of the a group doing it, part of the housing.
Sure.
Before anyone else gets on, what's his name? Mark
Howell?
Hopkinton? Hopkinton. No, I know Mark Howell.
It's Scott Hopkinson.
Scott Hopkinton and I had kind of a little bit of a last night, so just
I'm
let you
looking
know.
forward. Okay, well, I'll look forward to the video. That's fine. Now, I understand right now we are being recorded. What
Yeah,
happens
that's okay.
is they will.
But that's
chop
okay.
us up.
And maybe it was a misunderstanding or something. I mean, I try to look up and also consult with other people. I might have misunderstood something, but it was a little bit of a bump in the road. Let's say that. I mean, whatever. Life happens. And I always look at things as sometimes when if you look at something like that as a learning piece, I've got something to learn, and maybe somebody else does too, but I know I had something to learn. So it's life.
Cool.
And I look at it as, that's normal. But I wanted to say, but that's why I laughed when you said what happened. I'm like, but anyway, and he seems like a nice, hardworking guy. I mean, that's just, let me say that. I mean, that's my,
Sure.
so anyway, so the gentleman, the rep from Concord Green, and they start pointing out, I think he said it's like around $17,000 of percentage. It's like a percent up on their homeowners fee, whatever, condo fee.
Association.
That's
a good number.
HOA.
Like that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they had some conservative numbers, and I'm not so good at remembering numbers, and I didn't take a whole lot of notes on it. But basically, just getting the conduit into Concord Green is an expense, and that's the expense of Concord Green. Now, there was some conversation about maybe there would be some grants, maybe there could be some subsidies, but nothing nailed. And those are all possibilities, but the numbers start really adding up fast. And as far as I was concerned, and also you could see that in the person, the rep, the Concord Green person. So, there was discussion about that. And at the end, see, I brought up, I live at Everett Gardens, and I have internet essentials at this point in time. And for a long time, I did not have television. My TV broke about 6 or 7 years ago, and I said, I'll buy a new one. I said, let me see how long I last. And basically, I just used my phone. And all I had on my phone is cell, you got a, whatever package. So, it was okay. And then the packages got expensive, and then a lot of the cell connections, the towers went down here and they never replaced them, da, da, da. So, and then we have Zoom. So about a year plus ago, I said, I really need to do something because the Zoom data adds, it's through the roof on the phone. So that's when I got Internet Essentials, which was it's been very easy to get in the pandemic. And they keep opening it up to more. You don't have to have like a kid that gets subsidized lunch. You can be an elder. You can be a person with
okay, so they're expanding
loans, a college person with certain kind of loans and stuff. There's a lot more openness to it than there was. And right now you don't even need the 90-day waiting period. Usually you had to have 90 days after you drop Comcast in order to pick up. That's been waived. So basically you can pretty much walk in to open an account with Internet Essentials, $9.95 or $9.95 a month. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a single person, so I don't have a bunch of kids playing games and stuff like that or whatever. But most people, apparently, families with school, they've upped some of the speeds and the amounts. So basically, families with kids in school can do the school work. Mm-hmm. So it's better than it was like 5 or 6 years ago in terms of amounts of data and what the whole thing. So like an elder to me, it's like bargain of the century.
Yeah.
It depends. Well, it depends what your usage and how you use it.
I noticed you're able to participate in more meetings now than you used to. I see that right now. I'm very, very glad about that.
Right. And just background, I do have a chronic illness that says, hello. And I also, in terms of, I have some concerns, especially with the COVID of getting things. And sometimes I had the concern of giving things. Mm-hmm. So
let me hold on for this. Hey, Mr. Polly. Mark, I saw the new website about Meet Our Team and I saw that your bio is up and Tori's bio is up and Isabel's bio is up. So is she one of the new videographers?
Well, she's remained on and taken the the part-time role as a videographer when she's available. So
good.
Yeah. And we've asked the others for their bios too, and they have yet to produce them, but they're coming, I'm sure.
Although the chair of the committee wants to see those bios on the website. You want to know who these people are.
Good.
That's probably the best way for me to meet it right now is looking at the website. I think it's great. God, that's just dandy. Good. So can we call your office now the Blue Room?
Ooh.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's pretty.
Nice color. I have to have something.
Actually, yours looks like the outdoors room. That's lovely with all those plants. Yeah.
Well, it's because they have to be inside now. They can't handle the cold anymore. There's one out. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it was beautiful 2 days ago. Now it's dead. It's gone. It's an annual. It was going to die anyway. So
Yeah.
Wasn't too worried about it as well. Thank you for joining us, Mark. I'm glad you were able to come. I wasn't sure if you'd be able to not. You're welcome to bring any of your staff members to these things too, if they want to come in and watch. So.
Well, Tori's just about ready to leave to go do to collect some video from the Robbins house. So she's
good.
Yeah, she's about to leave for that. So that's been on the schedule for a while. So
good. Okay.
Today.
Good. All right. Are you going to be giving the MN update for the crew, or is it going to be?
Erin was just telling me this morning that she also has a pre-existing other meeting that she was scheduled to be at, which was kind of a training session or something that was only at, I think it's at 1 o'clock also. So she might not be here. I don't know who else is coming.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Hello, Nancy. How are you doing? I'm glad you could join us.
Hi, fine. Thank you.
Nancy and Lois, I hope you both received the packet of documents. So you know what we're going to be talking about today?
Yep.
Thank you. That's so nice to do.
Yeah, it's so much easier to have you send it than to try to dig it out of.
Well, I kind of want it. I want you to participate because I value your opinions. That's why, unlike most committees, I'm actually reaching out to certain people in the public who I know are interested in saying, hey, I want your views. So here's some information and here's what's going on. So please feel free to, we have a couple of things we have to get done, but I'll be sure to make sure that we have lots of opportunity for public comment. And if you need to say something, just sort of spout out and say, hey, I've got a question about stuff. Okay. Okay. You can see that David is joining. We've got more members of the public than we do members of the committee. That's cool. Hey, David, how are you doing today?
Not so bad. And you guys, how are you?
Good, good. Did you get the packet of information? I think I sent it to you, didn't?
Well, I got your email with the agenda. Yes, I did. In
documents,
fact, I looked and that was quite helpful. Thanks.
Good. Okay, sounds good. I just want to make sure you know what that could be babbling about today.
Right. For sure.
In theory, we're still recording, but hopefully our trusty video tech guys will will chop off this part before we officially start because we don't have any committee members besides me yet. So that's how that goes.
Does help to have committee members. That's true.
Yeah. Otherwise, we can just have sort of public discussion session of some sort.
As long as you're waiting to actually start the meeting, I just wanted to say I was really fascinated by the last item about that article in Milton. Do you know if it passed?
It did pass
Wow. Wow.
quite easily, actually.
Hmm.
And it has some interesting implications for Milton, of course. We're at a different, we'll talk about that. We're at a slightly
Yeah, no,
different.
I know. I was just really curious, and there was a and something I read, I don't remember what it was exactly. It mentioned that they had a conversation with Comcast.
Yeah, they did. An email.
Kind of
Says, never mind.
It's really,
I'll have to see what that email says. It's like, okay, that must have been fun. Yeah, well, no,
yeah.
that's
Well, anyway, I just was very curious and
good, good.
fascinating. Thank you. for
Nancy,
sending
later
it.
on during the program, do you feel comfortable at all giving an update on what's going on in Carlisle with their negotiations? Do you know anything about that?
I know nothing because I don't go to the selectmen's meetings and I.
I thought you might have known something. That's
No,
okay.
no, I mean, I would have paid attention. I proof the mosquito every week. So if something had appeared in a news article, I would have seen it. And I can always get information by calling a reporter, but I just haven't.
No, don't worry about
As
it.
far as I
It's-
can tell, nothing's happening.
Okay. All right. I'll ask you about that later on. Hey, Court, how are you? I'm glad you could join us. And there's Vince. Hey, we have a quorum. This is cool.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Court.
Hello.
Hey, Vince. Thank you very much for sending the minutes. Appreciate that. It's 1:02. I'm going to wait for just another minute or 2 minutes at the most to see if we can get Corey to join us or if Scott will join us. But aside from that, we'll just sort of take it easy for a few moments. Court, did you get all the documents that I sent in the packet?
Yes, I have not studied them all.
Okay.
I'm looking at them right now.
You get in, Mark.
I won't, I don't want to tell any untruths here.
Right on.
We're being recorded, right?
Damn right.
We are.
Not under oath, but as Carlin pointed out, we have a public discussion here until we get started, which is a very cool thing.
May as well. It's cold outside, but it's still kind of.
Oh my God.
It's a lovely day though. It's absolutely lovely. It finally hit 50 degrees. I'm wondering when I have to turn off the outdoor faucet before it freezes up.
I'll have to add that to my to-do list. That's a good point.
David, it's looking like it might be more difficult for you to drink soup than in the past with that luxurious beard of yours.
It's left over from when it was hanging down below my shoulder. I didn't give up that little bit. It gets pretty scraggly. I really regret to have to admit. And I got to tell you, getting it even on the two sides.
Yeah, you bring one up, then you bring the other up. Then you bring one.
Yeah, you don't have anything at all. That gadget, it's a wall, WAHL, which the barber in Indiana used 70 years ago, for God's sake. You wiggle it just a little bit, and oh my goodness, all gone. Yeah, I'll give it up at some point, but there it is.
Okay, folks, I'm about ready to start this meeting because we do have a quorum. So let's go ahead and get started.
I have to admit, Carla, forgive me. I probably won't be able to stay the entire session. We'll see. Anyway, sorry, I do apologize.
It's okay. All right, let's get going. All right, well, hi, welcome to the PEG Access Advisory Committee meeting. My name is Carlin Reed, and I'm the chair of the committee. Today's November 4th. We're going to be looking at a number of items today, but let's first start off with a roll call for the members who are here. And I'm going to call your names. And when I do, please say here, present, whatever you wish. And also a reminder to everyone present, we are being recorded as well. Carlin Reed is here. Court Booth.
Present.
Vince Carlson.
Present.
Okay, that's three of us as a quorum. We're still waiting for Corey Atkins and Scott Hopkinson, and they may be able to join us later on in today's meeting. Just a brief going over on the agenda, the documents that I've sent out to the participants on this call and to the members. We've got the agenda, the draft minutes from our October 7 meeting. Thank you again, Vince, for getting those ready. The agenda for the Saturday, November 6th, effective governance workshop, the draft annual report to the town for the PEG Access Committee, and two documents regards of something I found related somewhat to a franchise renewal process regarding the town of Milton. They had a special meeting on October 5, and there was some interesting information about using PEG funds for broadband and an INET that they have going on in their town. So those are the documents that we have for today's discussion. Let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing is going to be, we've done the Zoom call, we've done noting that it's recorded. Okay, minutes and meetings. October 7 minutes. I hope you all have had a chance to take a quick look at these. Vince, I appreciate you doing that. I've got two quick comments for you, then I'll turn over to Court and Vince if you have any other things. First, a couple revisions will be needed. And one thing I'm going to suggest, Vince, and tell me how reasonable it is I see in this, there are some abbreviations like CA for Corey Atkins, KR for Carlin Reed. And would it be possible in your system, because it's a new system we're using, to at the very beginning, indicate the name of the person and then right after that, the initials that you're going to use throughout. So for example, the first time you say Carlin Reed, put the initials KR in parentheses after that. Is that possible with your system?
Yes. Yeah, that's a hand edit of mine. So that's easy to do.
Okay. I'd appreciate if you do that. Go through the entire document, and wherever you have a 2-letter initials for the speaker, make sure that they're the first time that they're named in the document that you put those initials. So we know later on what the reference is. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing are two spelling corrections of names in paragraph number, and they're both in paragraph number 5. Okay. If you want, I can put that up there, but if you need me to put up the minutes, I can. But in paragraph 5, the two names of Tori Wisnowski and Aaron Stevens are misspelled. So Tori's name is Tory Wesnofske. And Mark Polly gets to challenge me if I mispronounce it. It's actually Wesnofske, Wisnowski. Okay. And
Yeah, she's the new employee at MMN, right? Yes.
Right.
Okay.
She's the new lead coordinator, Tory. So first name.
Okay.
And the other, buried in the middle of paragraph number 5, Aaron Stevens' last name is Stevens. You spell it correctly the first time in the roll call, but in paragraph 5, you've got a PH in there. So correct Aaron Stevens' last name. Okay, for edits, those are the only ones that, oh, yeah, and just a reminder, when you say CMLP and CLBB, make sure you spell it out the first time you use those, okay? Those are in paragraph number 6 in particular. Okay, those are my edits. Court, I'm going to turn it over to you to see if you had any edits or questions about the minutes from October 7th. Go ahead, Court.
Thank you, Vince. They look good. Maybe because of all the different initials and acronyms, we simply need a standing list at the bottom CMLP and everything else. If that makes life easier for you, Vince, put it in once
Good
at the
idea.
bottom.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Sort of a key to the minutes. The reference number 9, liaison comments, helped me. I think well, right now it reads, school committee is pleased with improvements. I think the context there was the school committee discuss the reopening of the studio. It was high school studio specific that generated my comment. So I think it's fine as is, just note, however, the context improvements, I believe, were high school studio and reopening.
All right. Yes. As a matter of fact, I think that I probably just did made that a little bit too short.
No, yeah, well,
I knew that was your intent, actually.
I admire you for putting together the minutes. Thank you.
I agree with that. Okay, Vince, did you have any other edits to your own minutes?
No, just a comment, by the way, on the minutes. And I haven't passed it on because I still want to do a spelling correction. You know, I ran it through this program, which is called Otter AI, and it actually generated a complete transcript of the last session. And it did so automatically. I still needed to do a little bit more training so that it recognized the speaker. But in fact, it does recognize the speaker. So I will pass that on when I've done a spell check on that, because these programs are not yet perfect in terms of their spelling, but they're getting there, you know. So this is probably maybe 95, 98% accurate now in terms of the spelling. Still has problems with proper nouns, whether they're individuals or places, but aside from that, they're getting very good.
Good. I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm glad that our committee is the test bed for this process. Now, after April 1, I don't know whether we're going to be able to use Zoom for committee meetings, but I'm pretty certain that we'll be able to use Zoom in other contexts. So it'd be useful to have a way that's easy to take minutes once you're trained on how to use the program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put minutes discussion on the agenda for next week, Vince. So work on the Otter AI, be ready to present something if you can during the minutes section. We have 2 things planned for the December meeting. One will be our Comcast representative, Greg Franks, is going to be coming and speaking to us. But the other thing I'll put on for discussion will be the minutes, okay?
Yeah, one comment on that actually is these programs, Otter AI is one of a number of programs that do more or less the same thing, but they are not dependent on Zoom. You know, in other words, as long as the meeting is being recorded in any way, shape, or form, even if it's an audio recording, these programs will still work. So there will be some flexibility going forward, you know, depending on how things turn out post, COVID.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get a vote on the minutes. We have a couple amendments for you. And Vince, are you clear with what those amendments are?
Yes, yeah, I'll correct them and pass it on to you.
Great. Court, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
Yes, motion to approve for the October 7 minutes as amended today.
Thank you. And Vince, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Carlin Reed votes aye. Court Booth.
Aye.
Vince Carlson.
Aye.
Okay, good. The minutes are approved as amended. All right, got that box checked. Dandy. Okay, next thing, take a look at the next meeting dates again. Next meeting is going to be December 2nd from 1 to 2:30 p.m. It'll be by Zoom. And as I mentioned, I've already invited and got a confirmation. Our Comcast representative, Greg Franks, will be there. If you have particular questions you want to ask ahead of time so he's prepared for it, send the question to me and I'll forward it on to Greg, okay? Otherwise, we'll get some of the usual information. And maybe a couple of questions as the initial preparation for our Comcast franchise renewal process. So this will be the first time that we talk to them that will actually encompass that as well. Okay. The next meetings I've got down here for January 6, February 3, March 3, April 7, May 5, and June 2. I'm still inclined to go 1 to 2:30 just because it's a time when no one else is using the Zoom license, so we don't get bumped off like some committees have been. That happened, I think 2 weeks ago. So those are the dates for the meetings. Any questions about the next meeting dates from court or?
No, they sound fine. Thank you.
Okay, your court, I'm particularly concerned about your time. You've got a lot going on, but 1 to 2:30 still good?
Yeah, Thursdays I teach in Boston, so usually I have to be on the road at around 2 o'clock. So often I'll hop onto the phone at about that hour.
Okay, okay. All right, that's good to know. If we need to do any voting, I'll try to make sure that it's done before 2 o'clock.
Very good. Thank you.
It's a lot easier that way. Okay, sounds good. The next thing is just a note about an attachment that I sent out the town clerk's effective governance workshop agenda, which is this Saturday. Committee members, you're supposed to attend. I'm hoping that you can attend. I'm guessing it's going to be recorded. Now, Mark, do you know whether that you've gotten a notice to record this? This is for the Saturday workshop, 9:30 in the morning to 11:30 in the morning.
No request I'm aware of, no.
Well, we've been given a Zoom link, so I'm
I
assuming
believe it'll be recorded on Zoom,
will
Carlin.
it be? Good. Now,
I believe so.
thank you, Aaron. The other thing I've learned is committees do not have to record. Let's see. If a committee meeting is being offers real-time participation, they don't have to be recorded. And if they're recorded for the purpose of helping to take minutes, recording doesn't have to be posted. Sorry.
Can you repeat that last part?
Not the coughing, but the.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting to me too.
Goodness, you're turning red. Are you okay?
Yes, I am. I'm kind of bugged by this. Who knows? This is something that will be covered in the governance workshop Saturday, because I've talked to Kari Tari about this. How long does a committee have to keep videos? And
I see.
all committees, because there's a conflict, and do all committees have to record a video if you offer real-time participation? An issue came up regarding the Trails Committee. It was going to be recorded, but only until the secretary had done the draft minutes, and then it was going to be deleted. And that prompted me and then we had a question saying, where's the video? It's not been posted. So I did some background work, and it's raised a couple of questions that you'll see at this governance workshop Saturday, dealing with videos. How long they're to be recorded, whether it's 6 months or forever, if it's historically important, or as well as whether or not all committees need to record their meetings. So just that's a heads up for Saturday. Okay.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I was red in the face. All right, so that's the notation about Saturday. Vince, did you have a question?
No, I was just switching my camera view.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's see, next thing. I'm about to turn it over to Mark and Aaron for their update, and a couple things that I'd ask for updates on the status of the staff, programming efforts, and World's Best Cemetery filming. Okay, go ahead, Mark. Aaron, whoever's doing it.
All right, well, I'll start and Erin will cut me off and take over anytime she pleases. So the staff is looking really good for the last month or so. We've been training a lot of the part-time 20-hour-a-week staff. And some of you that are in other meetings amongst the town of Eduardo, Zeb is also new, and then Accardi is also part-time. And they're part-time, meaning that we request their time and they let us know whether they're available or not. So it's not a guarantee that they'll get their 20 hours. If there's a meeting or an event or some video that needs to be covered, we throw the option out for them to take it, and most of the time I get someone to come. They've been training on a lot of the different scenarios that we end up having. There isn't just one camera and a microphone kind of scenario that goes on in the town these days. So there's lots of tech to learn and lots of uniqueness to some of these different venues and things. Tori Wesnowski is our full-time hire as our lead producer, and she started maybe a month ago, and she's been awesome. She's got an AP reporter background, and she's just a joy to work with, and very excited about being here in town and being able to collect stories and document them for both Carlisle, and Concord. So that's who we have today. That's the current group. Then if I look at the next item there that you wanted some updates on, programming efforts. What exactly did you mean by programming efforts?
If there's any new program you want to highlight, this is like cool stuff happening or anything special happening.
So I think Erin was working on some videos for a national campaign. I don't know if you want to do that better than me, Erin, has explained that, but that was pretty cool.
So I was working with Ken Burns is putting together a project, which was launched last week of October, week and a half ago now, which was about honoring your hometown. So that was something that Mark and Tori helped me out with. They did some of the filming, and I put it together because they didn't want something that was professionally done. So I figure I'm mediocre at doing the actual editing, so it was best for me to put that piece of it together. But we've gotten a lot of really good feedback from that, and I mean, we were in very good company, the people who were submitting videos. So we were really honored to be asked to be a part of that, but also excited that it turned out so well. I heard from Carl Sweeney of the Concord Minutemen that it was played on NBC. I didn't know this, so that was exciting. He said that he wished he had practiced a little bit more. If he had known it would have, been on NBC, but oh well. So that's really exciting. We made 2 different videos. One was with the National Park and the Concord Minutemen, and the other one was with Maynard Forbes and Jan Turnquist.
So that's what the boss has been doing. So she's keeping current in all this technology. But we've had the opportunity to be at the Thoreau Society doing live streaming for them. We've been out in Nishotic during a live streaming of the Concord. What was that? That was the Concord on our list here. I can't see it at the moment. Community Chest. So live streaming that. So and then the Thoreau had their thing. We've got another one coming up at Concord Art. So we've been utilizing our resources that are live streaming resources, both audio and video, but also for the community when it's kind of a private showing. They're renting our services. So part of what we're doing is for public consumption, and other parts are having some income come in to the station per person per hour. So we've had a lot, and we have a lot more. We've got the middle school coming up. We'll be mentoring with the middle school to have their music recorded by their own kids, both at the middle school and here at the high school. The other night we recorded the chorus here for an hour with multiple cameras. We did not live stream it, but we recorded it. So we're getting a lot of traction for multi-camera, on-site kind of events, which we've been able to handle. And of course, today I'm getting all geared up for the town meeting coming up in January. So, and I don't know what the world's best cemetery filming is. I have no idea what that is.
Aaron, do you know? Because I saw it on the cemetery committee meeting that I watched. They talked about it.
Yeah, that's separate from MMN. That's part of what I do as film liaison for the town. That's a program where we have somebody coming in, or he already came in. He put together a TV series that is the world's greatest cemetery. So it's been, he's gone to London, he's gone to out to LA, he's gone to, I think it was Memphis where Elvis was buried. He's been to all these different places that are not only known for being beautiful, but also have great stories to tell and interesting people buried there. So he came to Concord to Sleepy Hollow, and we did an episode with him here. So unrelated from MMN, but still very cool.
Do you know that really is kind of neat. It's kind of thing that shows that there's video production here, and it's not just on the station studio, but it's good to know about. I saw that, well, that's kind of interesting. Okay, I appreciate the updates. What I'd like to do is let the committee members ask any questions they have of MMN, and then open it up to the public for a couple of questions and comments if they have it regarding MMN, staffing, programming, anything else. Let's start with Court and then with Vince. Court, do you have any questions for Mark?
My request is really simple. Mark, could you give us in writing through Carlin or through Aaron, a list of your staff and positions and who's a stringer and who's not? I find that in public meetings, sometimes, I want to say hello and recognize the work that people are doing. And sometimes I'm caught flat-footed. I should know somebody's name and I don't, because I don't want to treat them like part of the wallpaper. They're doing super good work.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, we are trying to get a photograph of each one too, which would be kind of nice to identify a name with a face. So, but I'll give you names through Aaron, and obviously Aaron knows who they are too.
Right.
But we are still waiting for a couple of the photographs. And
okay, that would be terrific. Thank you. When you can.
Yeah. We're working on updating our staff page. So right now it just has a few people on it because we're still waiting for some people to give us their photographs and their bios. Because we're planning on having everybody who's either part-time or full-time on our staff page.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Court. Vince, what about you? Do you have any questions?
Well, something had come up at the last meeting concerning training in the studio, particularly on editing. And I think, Carlin, you had mentioned that, that you were interested in that. And has that gone any farther? And what programs you're using Premiere Pro in the studio there, right, Mark? Is that the program that you are training people on?
If we have training, we would ask at what level would they like it, because sometimes the simpler Apple products is what we could train them on. It could be the Blackmagic product, or it could be Premiere Pro. So we have, in the past 3 years, I don't think we've trained anyone here yet, but if they wanted to, we have 3 different types. And now that we have Tori here, she teaches photography, and she also teaches like beginning editing also. And sometimes it's just editing on your iPhone or your iPad too is an option. So any one of those options, we've got a skill level into each one, but not complete level. But so
I think there's a free version of Blackmagic, isn't there, on both PC and Mac?
Yeah, that's what we have. Yeah.
That might be very attractive to people that would, like to do editing at home, but, something that your staff would be familiar with.
Right. Yeah. And that was the point, is that sometimes Premiere, you have to buy a license for it. And if they want to take it home, I mean, they can obviously work here, but I don't think right now we're set up in a classroom environment yet. If we had 1 or 2 people, I think we could handle it. But any more than that, we'd have to go off site somewhere.
Very good. One question before I turn this over to the members of the public, and I think this is really for Aaron more so than Mark. Aaron, we're starting the Comcast franchise renewal. So at some point, I'm going to want to talk to you and to Kate about putting together an RFP, and I'll check in with you offline to check your availability for that kind of discussion. I'll just come down to your offices and we'll set up a time. Good.
Sure, no problem.
I appreciate that. Okay, members of the public, questions for MMN. Anybody? Going once. All right, I've got Lois first, then David. Lois, go ahead.
Is there possibilities for volunteers now or in the future at the station?
I think Aaron would answer it.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'd love to have volunteers. Obviously, things have been slow to a screaming halt with COVID, but we'd love to have volunteers helping out with various meetings. We're always happy to train people so that they could, for instance, there's a big soccer game coming up, and everybody wants to make sure that is filmed for posterity's sake. We'd love to have a volunteer who's trained and wants to do that, or if there's people who just want to be able to help out and film the COA events or something like that. We'd be happy to have volunteers to help us out with that kind of stuff.
Oh, you don't need volunteers for meetings then?
I'm sorry?
So are you saying you don't need volunteers for meetings?
Oh, no, we could definitely use volunteers for meetings.
Oh, okay. No,
absolutely.
Okay. No, I had something, finish up, and I'm trying to figure out my next steps.
Yeah, we'd love to have help. Definitely.
Maybe I'll come down and talk to you, Mark. Are you
Sure.
at the station often, or?
I live here. Ask Aaron.
Oh, okay.
He has a pot under his desk. Not really, though.
No, that's the name. That's the nature of that job.
Yeah. No,
okay.
I would.
I'll give you a call.
Okay. All right. Great. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Super. Thanks.
I'm really happy to hear that. That was an excellent question, Lois. Okay, David, your turn. Go ahead, David.
This entirely follows on from what was just said. I'm just delighted and heartened, Mark, to see what you put into this, sir. Not the very least, what you laid out there about the array of editing software you have available, and the fact that you stage it across the capabilities, potential learners, and what you yourselves want to use. Right on. It's important to say thanks. So appreciative.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I echo that. I think you're doing a really good job, Mark. And I think Lois is waving her hand saying, yeah, I agree with that too. Okay. Other questions for members of the public? Carol, do you have anything? You haven't said a thing yet. Nancy, you haven't said anything yet either.
No, nothing to add or ask. No.
Okay, you're easy to please. All right, let's go on with the agenda then. Oh, wait, there is one thing I want to find out. Aaron, I've sent you information to update the website for the PEG Access, as well as the with the goals and the new people involved. If you need me to resend you that material, let me know.
Yeah,
But,
that'd be great, because I don't remember seeing it.
Okay, I'll resend it to you so we can get the website updated with the new stuff, because we have the new goals that were approved, as well as the new positions of the various members of the committee. Okay. All right. Let me go through my checklist, see if there's anything else. Got it. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next item that I have here, which is the this is the draft annual report for the town. And this is something we've done. I've typically drafted these things and then presented to the committee. I'm sorry, David, did you have a question?
No, I just had to bow out. Thanks.
Okay.
as always.
Thank you for
See
joining us, David. Appreciate that.
It's a
very
pleasure.
much.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.
Okay, for this report is something I've drafted, and this is a draft form. If you want to vote on it today, that's fine. If you want to add something to it, that's fine too. This is due, I believe, by the end of the year, and I'm just getting an early start on it because I had time to get it worked on. This report is accompanied by a photograph, and I think what I'm going to do, since we have just 3 of the people here, I'll wait till next week to take the photograph for the Zoom photograph. But I am interested in seeing if you folks have anything additional to add. I can put up on the screen, or if you all have the copies of the documents, what am I missing? What needs to be added on to this? And I'll go with Court first, and then Vince. See if you have any suggestions or ideas. All right, and let me pull that up here so you can actually take a look at what this thing looks like here.
I think Court, you're muted.
All right, I have found Zoom, sorry, and turned my mic on. This is the 1029 draft.
Yeah, I'm going to do a share screen here in just a second here. You can see what it looks like. Let's pretend this works. Hey, it sort of works. Good. Okay. Yeah, so this is the 1029 draft, and it's in a format that we've used in the past based on what Aaron's told us about the size of the font and such. My purpose in doing this is I list the committee members and the liaisons here. I give a brief description of what we've done over the year. That's this first paragraph here. Then I put in the purpose of the group so people know, because people still ask me, PEG access, what's that? And then I wanted to include the award winners because for some reason the Globe has decided, or the Concord Journal has decided not to publish the article that we sent in, even though Aaron has graciously sent that off to them. And then I've got extra space. I think I've got about a 2-page max. So if there's something else you want to add to it, think about it if you want to talk about it. Now, I don't think we're going to take a vote right now, unless there's something that you're completely fine with it, because we're not under a time pressure. So this is kind of where we are right now. And if you want me to increase the size of it, I'm going to boot it up a little. Up, that's too much.
I'm looking at a hard copy. The only comment I have is I'm a fan of flogging every opportunity to get eyes and ears on our broadcasts. So you've sent us to the committee website. Should we really prominently say we are 8, 9, and 99 for Comcast subscribers, and we are online for everybody? Is there a way we can drive more traffic our way?
Yep. So we can do
I mean, now, truth be told, the people that read the town report already know, but. So.
This is true, but it's part of the process of what we go through. I think it's a great suggestion. Great suggestion, Court. I'll add that. And I'll get some more language on that and we'll get it to you for the next meeting. Okay. Vince, do you have any suggestions on how to revise this report?
Well, I was just searching for my copy that I printed out, which I misplaced somewhere. I had a couple of notes on it.
Well, if you can't find it real fast, it's okay. You can take a look at this, or what you can do is send me the comments you have, and I'll incorporate it into the next version that I send out in December.
Under program awards, you do reference 8, 9, 99. I think we need to tell people that's Comcast subscribers.
Right. I see what it is. Okay.
Yeah. So we can tighten that up and embellish it maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This description I took from the actual presentation that I made to the select board. This is kind of the script that I followed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where all this information came in. Okay. Is there something else we should highlight in addition to the program awards?
Well, if you don't mind my thinking out loud, I don't want to take us too far astray, but one upside of this health crisis we've been living through for 20 months now is that citizen participation is made easier for some with electronic digital meetings, online meetings. And then more importantly, it's made it actually just possible for some for whom it was impossible before. Not everybody's mobile. And so what we're doing really is a game changer. And I don't know if we want to trumpet that at all. Because we are such a citizen governed town that participation is critical.
Okay, I can add that.
Well, if others agree, I don't know. I don't want to preach too much, but there is something to it.
Would it be okay for me to put it after this first paragraph? Before we do this purpose, so that I put it up near the front of the document rather than at the end?
Yeah, I think so. And I think I imagine we could pull some data from somewhere that really references the fact that we have this, unprecedented surge in new participants made possible because of the combination of technologies like Zoom and transmission by the station through YouTube and live coverage on the net.
In the past, we've had certain pieces of data incorporated into the annual reports about viewers, about subscribers, something like that. Mark, can you help me with some of that data of what information you can collect, of how many people view stuff, or how many programs you've done, or something along those? Ideally, I'd like about 2 or 3 sentences of in 2021. We created, we posted, say, 30 to 40 videos every week or every month or something like that, not every week, every month. Or we had programs like this. Something that shows what the station does.
One thing that I will say, Carlin, is that that kind of stuff goes in MMN's report as well. So I don't know if we need to have in 2 places necessarily.
No, yeah, we don't need to have in 2 places. A cross-reference will be useful.
Sure.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so if I cross-reference it to the MMN report, can I get 1 data point for mine? Please, one for mine.
Fine.
Thank you. All right, Mark, I'm allowed 1 data point, so 1 data point.
Okay, I'll give you the number of happy customers.
All of them. That was an easy one. Well, no, I don't know about that. No, seriously, if you can give me something to include, I'll be able to flesh it out around a paragraph like what Court's talking about.
Sure. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much. Okay, Vince, did you have any ideas or anything else? Or Court, did you have anything else?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, one thing that did occur to me, it's going to come up more prominently. Actually, I was thinking of asking you to put on the agenda for next month's meeting, but this kind of relates to what Court was saying too about what's happened during COVID, but more broadly going forward. Again, the primary purpose of PEG, if anything, is local news. And one thing that is going to be upcoming here now with the last sessions there by the adult ed presentations, a couple of weeks ago, is the possible tie-in with what David Ropeck is hoping to do with a new local newspaper. And that's going to be an online thing. Ideally, it might be print at some point, but there's also a media tie-in potentially there with things that are done on video. So I think it becomes, more than just traditional media. It becomes a kind of a hybrid type of media. And actually, we all know at some point that paper is going to disappear from the scene. So it's going to be kind of an evolutionary process over, some period of years. And this is hopefully the starting point for doing something much more tangible. There's papers die and are born. Paper just died a few weeks ago, which was the Lincoln newspaper. There's no longer a Lincoln Journal. So Gannett is referring all former Lincoln subscribers to the Concord site, at this point, in terms of the website remainder of whatever the Lincoln Journal was as of 4 months ago.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead,
Vince.
Carol. Go ahead.
What is this new local newspaper you're talking about? And also, the Concord Journal basically is the Lincoln Journal now. If you read the Concord Journal, almost all
Yes.
the articles, all the sports things are all Lincoln. Lincoln
Uh,
Sudbury.
That's interesting. It means
Yeah.
that the Lincoln Journal must have had a reporter on there when the Concord Journal
Exactly.
didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
But what
it's
is this
the-
new local newspaper you're talking
The
about?
Concord Independent.
The Concord Independent is many months away from launch. This is David Ropeek and an effort on the part of a new nonprofit corporation that is still pulling itself together. But he's got a bunch of pledges and wants serious journalism. So it's something worth watching. It's going to be called the Concord Independent. It's going to be 100% online and subscription based.
Okay.
But free
Oh.
subscriptions, I understand it, Court.
Well, yeah, but he's struggling to monetize it, so we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea was to get at least, 1/3 of the readership subscribed, which
Right.
I guess is still a business plan, that's, as you say, evolving at this point. One thing that he had mentioned was newsletters. And I know it's kind of an extended schedule. He's talking about getting started late in 2022, I think. But before that, there may be an opportunity for something like a newsletter. I don't know what he has in mind, if he's, interested in doing some things before then, but I honestly think it would be helpful for him and for the people who are not getting well served by the Concord Journal if something could take up the slack between now and then.
Okay. Any other any other comments from the public for MMN? And Frank, I see that you just joined us. What we're doing is if you have any questions for Mark Polly or Aaron Stevens of MMN, now's the time to ask. If you have anything, please go ahead. Otherwise, I'll move on to the next agenda. Frank, what do you?
Yeah, I was wondering how we're coming on breaking up the YouTube thing into separate channels. I don't see any separate channels there now.
No, it's being floated about as an option, and we haven't decided to do that yet or not. So,
Well, who's
If
going
you
to decide?
if you did, would it mirror the government public education?
that's what Frank was asking. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'd have two. I'd have a Carlisle municipal and a Concord municipal. So.
Yeah, well, Carlisle, just so you know, has their own YouTube site too. So we double send content. We send it to MMN, and we also send Carlisle's YouTube site.
No, I also had a suggestion about, like I mentioned before, Facebook, right? Facebook's a good place to kind of advertise what you're doing. And I see that they do have a Facebook account, MMN does, and the last time it was updated was May 6th, I think. I mean, this would be a place to put, for instance, are you doing anything other than municipal meetings at the moment?
Yes.
Like what?
Like the things that you missed that I talked about earlier. So yeah, we're doing a lot of live streaming for some of the community, and we're doing content for any of the West Concord events that they've had. We've done the Green Thumbs in West Concord. We've done just all, a lot of these other events that have started up since we got a few more hires here.
Well, have you ever logged into that Facebook account?
I don't think I have, no. I think Aaron may know who manages that.
Yeah, so in the past, it was managed by our lead producer, Isabel, when she was still with us. But when she left and Mark, it all fell onto his shoulders. It kind of fell by the wayside because we were trying to really make sure we were keeping up with all of our meetings and events and other things that were going on. But that is one thing that our new lead producer, Tori, has offered to help start up again. So we're excited to get that started, but it has sort of fallen by the wayside. Things have been posted on the town page, but less on Minuteman's Facebook and Instagram, just because we've been a little bit pressed for people, but we're starting to get there now. So we're very thankful for that.
So by next month, I'll probably see an entry, that's more close to, it's beyond May 6th of this year, right? On that Facebook account. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be a good place to just put things like this West Concord Green Thumb thing or whatever, so.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, whatever.
Yep.
Okay,
Mark,
hold on. Vince, go ahead.
is all of the Carlisle material that's posted on their YouTube channel, is that also posted on the Minuteman YouTube channel?
Yeah, at the moment, that's been the process since I started, that if it's done by Minuteman, it's on the Minuteman channel, which is a Concord Carlisle thing. And if it's a municipal or even a Carlisle event that was recorded at the library, it goes onto the Carlisle site also. So if it's COA stuff, it's Carlisle, it's both. I didn't realize they had one at first, but they do. So we try to make them, we try to accommodate them.
I was thinking of the subscriber numbers here. There's a kind of a magic 1,000 number for YouTube. Does that make a difference for you, Mark, when that magic boundary is passed? That's the stage at which YouTube is the channel is monetized, and it's not clear that Minuteman is going to be able to utilize monetization in any way, shape, or form. But I was just wondering if that number is significant for any other reason.
I'm not aware of any reason that we would care. I'm just looking up right now to see how many currently we have.
I think it's 700 now.
I was just gonna go, 765 subscribers. Yeah. So,
okay, I'm curious.
Well, when you reach 1,000 subscribers, we're going to throw you a party, Mark.
One last thing on content there. Anyone do, like you said, still not covering high school sports? Now, they covered it last year. They were doing football and soccer and basketball. Is there any plans? Has anyone made any decisions to start doing that again, or what? Seems like a thing that all community TV stations do is cover high school sports, but this one doesn't seem to be doing it now. So
right. That's a larger discussion between us and the school. They asked us this year to not post the high school football, which is what has been done in the past, because they were concerned about, they're very competitive with their football, and they wanted to make sure that other teams weren't able to watch their games and learn their plays. So we agreed to not post those this year in an effort to help out those high schoolers who are looking for football scholarships and things like that.
Okay, it's getting close to 2:00 in court. I want to give you a chance to say anything if you need to say anything before you need to do anything. Do you have any questions or observations right now, Court?
No, I don't. I appreciate what Aaron just said. We've got to defer to the coaches and the kids. But I agree with Frank. If we can get more sports on through volunteers, we're going to draw more people. No question about it. So it remains a goal.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't using volunteers last year, though. I mean, did the soccer team say they don't want you to cover their games too? The girls, the boys, the field hockey, that kind of thing. They all said they didn't want their games covered. What seems kind of
that I don't know. I'm in touch with the senior coach on soccer. Ray, Frank. I'd be happy to chat with him and get an opinion.
Thanks, appreciate that. Well, local sports, local news, two very good areas for PEG access, that's for sure. If we can get it up, and we probably still really do need volunteers, Aunt Lois, and anybody else who is interested.
Is the football field heated?
And no,
Not
Only
yet.
during the summer.
Right. Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's go on to the next section here. And I appreciate the comments we've had. The next section is where are we now? The Comcast franchise renewal update. This is just a quick note. I sent around two articles about what the town of Milton is doing. So this is a little blurb for this. When I find something dealing with PEG or franchise renewals, I'm going to pull it out and try to make it part of our meetings on this. The two items that I had covered, one is from a special town meeting, Town of Milton, October 25. It's article number 3. And then the other piece is the actual presentation that Milton's Municipal Broadband Committee presented to the town in support of this article. Very briefly, the article asks the town to approve using $350,000. Is that the right amount? Yeah, $350,000 from Milton's new PEG fund, as well as that's it, from the PEG fund to support a town-owned INET for town buildings only, not for residences, but for town buildings. I was kind of surprised to see this article. It's a way of Milton apparently being able to have their own internet broadband network startup, but they're using PEG funds to do it, as well as other town funds. There was more funds allocated for this purpose, as you can see there by the presentation. Looks like about $1 million project just to hook up the town buildings. That's what the town of Milton did. This article did pass. And if you look in the discussion of the presentation, I think it was on slide 12. I think that's the right number. It looks like Comcast had sent a letter to the select board of Milton saying, no, this is not an appropriate use of PEG funds for townwide purposes. But the presentation also shows that there was a follow-up email that said Comcast had waived their argument. Now, I don't know about this. I might do a little more digging on this one. I find it interesting. I'm not advocating using PEG funds to support our town's broadband operation at this point. But I want to give you a highlight of the kinds of things that we can be thinking about, what to ask for when we do our Comcast franchise renewal process, by looking at various other town examples. Now, one more piece of backstory in Milton, and I'll drop it. Milton just created their PEG fund. And I think they have a total of about $700,000 in their PEG fund. They did that just 2 years ago. They're going to spend half of it on their broadband INET. Our town used to have an INET, but once we got our municipal broadband program up and running, we dropped it. So we don't have that particular need at this point. At least that's how it's kind of sounding at this point. Now, that's all that I had to say. Does anybody have any questions, either Cord or Vince, about the built-in process, or other observations that you want to give at this point regarding something related to the Comcast franchise renewal process? Cord,
No, but thank you. Pretty helpful. Thank you.
Well, I was interested in how they're planning to utilize the American Recovery Plan Act, the federal act there. And,
Right.
I gather that's still in process, in Congress. But I was just wondering what the status in Concord is of the utilization of the funds that they're getting from that. I believe that the number in Concord is directly getting something like $2.5 million. And there's also money filtered through the state. They mentioned something through the county, and I'm not aware of that part. But I don't know. Maybe Kate, do you know how the various allocations are filtering through to Concord?
I don't think Kate's on the call.
I think I can answer it. There is no county money to my knowledge. We do have the ARPA, we have the ESSER funds into the schools in addition. And ultimately, they're under the governance of the select board and the school committee. And there is a reasonable amount of license as to how the funds are used, but they are carefully audited. So the town and the schools are going to have to follow the rules really scrupulously. But fortunately, we don't have to make sudden decisions with some of these funds. We've got a pretty long runway.
Well, there are two parts also from the two CARES Acts.
Correct.
And, they, some of that, I believe, is being allocated in the town to at least some IT aspects. I'm not sure about, just pure internet aspect, things that may apply to Concord Lake Broadband. But in the infrastructure bill, there is a good chunk of money that is potentially going to enhance, just general internet, quote unquote, infrastructure. And even though the majority of that in theory is going to rural areas, it looks like it's being utilized pretty broadly, even in large urban areas and, parts of Massachusetts and even in, excuse me, in Boston for those purposes. So I think, that doesn't apply to PEG so much as it will be to the Fiber Broadband Completion Committee.
Yes, and that committee is meeting on a weekly basis, and we'll be looking at funding sources for how to extend broadband to various components of the town and how to, what some of the concerns are. I would cross-reference anybody who is interested to watch the videos for the Fiber Broadband Completion Task Force. It's being posted, and they're meeting every week to try and get their report out. They're working quite diligently on that. Okay, that was what I wanted to bring out as far as the Comcast, and that's kind of also the fiber broadband update because Scott's not here to give the update. Now, Lois, I was wondering, do you think you might be able to help us out on what was discussed at yesterday's Fiber Broadband Task Force Committee meeting? Because I know that you watched it very briefly.
I started. Basically, they discussed the conduit and they call them the handhelds or something. It's kind of the little junctions, and some of them they had a couple different maps, and some of them seem to actually be there, and some don't seem to be there. Even they're on the map, but they don't seem to be present, or they couldn't find them. And okay, places that they discussed is Concord Green, and because the residents own the land in common, they have to make common decisions for the whole, and the decisions are made for the whole place, not for parts of it at all. That was reiterated many times by the representative. The next other place that they looked at is Cul-De-Sacs. There's many Cul-De-Sacs. Many of the Cul-De-Sacs in town have no fiber coverage. Some of them appear to have conduit on, and some of them appear to have conduit on one side, not both. And they don't know if that conduit is available for fiber or not. And some of it seems like it isn't. It seems like more of their maps were projected rather than actuals. The town has places on the borders and the edges of town where, and there's not a lot of people in that situation where there's no access by a town street or through the town. So there's, but that is not a very big group of people. Then there's seem to be straightaways and streets that have conduit that's active, and houses that are not connected to broadband. And there was discussion of how each of those, work together or didn't, and how to approach the possibility of putting conduit and then the fiber in, and then they started discussing costs.
Okay, that's always a good part of the discussion. I appreciate that, Lois. Thank you very much. Again, I would refer anybody to the Broadband Committee videos.
Yeah.
Or one of the committee members if they have additional questions on that.
They had a lot more detail, but I can't remember it all.
That's kind of their job. Okay, all right. We're ripping through this agenda pretty quickly now. What I'm going to do now is move on to the liaison comments. And Carol, you are a liaison for the Council on Aging. Do you have any observations? What's going on at the COA these days, Carol?
Well, they just gave the booster shots for people with the Pfizer, and they're now going to be giving booster shots for people with the Moderna vaccine. What else? We're all still masked. You can't go into the Council on Aging without being masked. Their programs are curtailed because of that. So, they're still trying to get back to full force, but not there yet.
What's the process of doing programs and getting them videotaped? Is stuff coming out of the COA? I haven't seen much lately.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on the people who are giving the classes, whether they want things videotaped or not. Early on, we were doing exercise classes on Zoom. So that wasn't videotaped, and we were, paying our instructor on our own, other than we'd been doing it in person. A lot of the lecture things are just not being held because in person. A lot of it is Zoom meetings. So.
Is it because they need a volunteer to actually go there and videotape, or they don't know how to do the Zoom, or they don't feel comfortable?
Well, our board meeting, we had an in-person board meeting 2 meetings ago, but we had to be masked, and we had it videotaped. There was we had a cute little thing in the center of the table that kind of turned to everybody as they talked. But the problem is, we all decided we'd rather do it on Zoom because we don't want to be in the building with our masks on for an hour and a half. So.
Okay, well, if there's some way that we can encourage Council on Aging to increase the content.
Okay.
Let me know and let Mark know, and we'll see what we can do. If someone on the committee has some ideas on how to increase the number of programs, either that can be videotaped and uploaded either through Zoom or through person with a camera walking in there, let me know, because that's the COA for both.
Well, I think one of the objectives with the Council on Aging is in-person gatherings. I think that's what the older people need more than they do sitting in their house and watching things. However, there are some things I'm sure that, maybe would work with the videotaping them and having people watch them on YouTube or watching them live streaming it. Okay, I will ask.
Got it. Thank you. Lois, do you have a comment? Go ahead, Lois.
Yeah, why aren't the Zoom meetings, I mean, maybe not all of them are appropriate, but why aren't the Zoom meetings recorded and then rebroadcast?
Which ones? For example, the exercise classes, they happen.
No, like your lectures. Like your lectures.
They had stopped doing a lot of those lectures. And then when they brought them back on, a lot of the people who are giving the lectures are not interested in having them be video.
Okay.
That's the issue, I think, in general.
Okay, because, it just seems like, I get a brochure that's, umpteen pages of events, and there's, it just seems that if you Zoom in it anyway, record it and broadcast it. I don't know.
Well, it depends on the instructor, whether they want
right.
that.
I understand permissions are important.
Yeah.
But it just, and sometimes the way it's presented to the instructor, sometimes Zoom, they'll agree to record Zoom, but they won't do video.
Oh, okay. Well, if they're doing,
Just a thought.
No, but a lot of the things, a lot of the things that are done Zoom, the instructor is not at the COA. They're in their own place too. So it's, but if there's a hybrid thing going on, then maybe videotaping it would be a good idea. I will find out.
Well, before COVID, both Concord and Carlisle, Council on Aging's had a number of programs, multiple programs that were posted on MMN's website and YouTube. And I'd kind of like to see that come back again somehow, if that's possible. I don't know what's the best way of doing it, because it's a service. And I think that is a segment of the population that actually appreciates the programming. So,
And,
okay.
if anyone has Carlisle, they have a lot of programs too that they seem to record.
Yeah, Nancy, you're in the background there and you're living in Carlisle. Can you give us some, do you have any Carlisle exposure observations, comments that you can help us with? Nancy, go ahead.
I haven't really participated in any COA stuff much, just because, you know, there's always other things to do. So I really can't, I mean, they as far as I know, they're still doing things. I was sort of shocked, actually, that they seem to be having meetings at the library, and anyway, but I haven't participated, so I don't know too much about it, and I have no idea whether they're putting it on.
Well, if you can convey a message, we would encourage.
So,
more
Carolyn?
participation,
All right, yeah,
encourage more content.
I'll see.
I mean,
Some
we
of
have people now, we have staff, we have interest, so let's
Okay.
try and get some more cool stuff on the website, on the
Yeah.
on our channel.
So Carolyn,
Yes, sir.
I have a request from Linda Murphy at the Carlisle COA to suggest and come over and train them on their Zoom technology to do more. It appears they want to do more live, but a lot of their members don't want to do live, so they want to do the hybrid kind of environment. So she called me or emailed yesterday or the day before and said, we'd like to have some conversation about how to use the technology better to do that. So
Oh, there you go.
so it sounds like that they're going to be interested in doing to satisfy both sides of that equation. People that want to be there live to have that exposure, but also that don't want the exposure, that they do some more stuff at home. So I'm scheduling some time. I don't have it yet scheduled, but to go over and just kind of talk them through the possibilities.
Okay, now this all started, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate that. I'm encouraged to hear that. Carol, we started this with you for the liaison report for the COA. Was there anything else that you have, Carol, for this?
Not really, no.
Okay, Court, let's go to you. Is there anything from the school committee that you're the school committee liaison as well?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, all right.
We've got just by way of news, just to share with you, we've got the middle school project estimates coming in later this week. So that's going to be a real threshold moment for the project. And we just got word a few minutes ago that we've got a vaccine clinic coming in for the kids. And we just got news that the school committee is on a watch list on the web for our progressive posture, according to them. So we seem to be fitting very nicely into national trends here in all kinds of ways.
I'm glad to hear that. Very glad to hear that. Excellent. Okay, we're in the liaison public comments. Any other public comments or observations? Otherwise, we're going to wind this up.
Could I just share my screen for 2 seconds for a little self-advertising?
Go ahead.
Just for a couple seconds. When you come into our building, I wanted to try to make it a little easier to find out where things are. And this is one of the posters that I have near the door with a shortcut to Minuteman Media on YouTube is what this is here. Again, if we publish this, it's a single click link to get into directly to our site. And then of course, live online is minuteman.media. And then I've been publicizing the direct open government meetings on Comcast Channel 9, minuteman.media/government. Public involvement is on Comcast Channel 8, minuteman.media/public. And the power of education on Comcast Channel 99, Minuteman Media/education. So I just wanted to throw that into the visual record of the meeting.
Good, thank you. You might consider adding the Facebook page when you get that up to speed. I like that. That looks real nice.
Yes, I will.
Okay. All right, anything else for the good of the order?
Oh, was that directed to me?
No, anybody. All right, could I have a motion to adjourn, please, either from Cord or Vince?
So moved.
I love that.
I will
That worked out
second, I
really
will
well.
second Vince's emotion.
Thank you so much. Oh, I love this. This is great. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we go ahead and adjourn. Let's do a roll call vote. And before I do that, I want to express my appreciation to everybody who's joined us on this conversation. Carlin Reed votes yes. Vince Carlson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Court Booth, how do you vote to adjourn?
Yes, thank
All right,
you.
thank you very much. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the afternoon.
Hey.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Carlin.
Thanks.
Thank
Take care,
you.
everybody.
Take care all.